Evening. Was there? No. Wait a second. Is this working? No. Oh, okay. Okay. Evening, gang. We are back with some swooning over stands. Both Stan and Ford round the corner to find you sitting on your heels next to Waddles, and Gromper's brandishing a pillow and glow sticks in the dirt. The three of you stare at each other in silence. Mabel needed a ring bearer for the wedding. It's at that moment that Mabel kicks down the back door, rushes to your side, and throws rose petals atop your head. Ta-da! You blow her rose petal off the tip of your nose and grin at Mabel. I think our bride and groom are ready to renew their vows, don't you? Mabel nods emphatically at you before turning to her grunkles, lighting up a 100-watt smile. Yes, Grunkle Stan, Grunkle Ford, you guys got back just in time. Just like that, Mabel pushes Stan and Ford towards you and tugs their hands so that they sit across from you. Stan complains about his knees, and Ford asks Dipper exactly why the pig and the goat are betrothed. Fits with what you know about both at this point. Mabel makes way with the wedding. Mabel makes way with the wedding, and you sit cross-legged, the pillow and glow stick rings on your lap. Every so often, Mabel stifles a theatrical sob, weeping a very real tear from her eye before she turns to you for the rings. Oh, Mabel, how should the betrothed wear the rings, since they don't have ring fingers? Just put them on where you think they fit best. She did mention Waddle's tail last time. Around one goat horn and Waddle's tail. You get up and promptly crouch in front of Waddles, and Gromper's playing your ring bearer part very seriously. The glow stick ring goes onto one of Gromper's horns, and you place the other on Waddle's rear, hanging off his curly Q tail. I now pronounce you husband and husband. Again. You may now kiss the goat. Waddles sniffs at Grompers and snorts. That definitely counts. Dipper reappears with a new camera, and Mabel throws more rose petals at him. The few get stuck in his fluffy hat, and he rolls his eyes, but retaliates by taking a very close-up picture, the flash temporarily blinding her. Hey, save the film for the renewedly weds. I need plenty of pictures for my scrapbook. You owe me a new camera for this, Mabel. He sounds annoyed, but his fond sibling smile gives him away, and he starts taking pictures of the happy couple, getting odd angles as Mabel pushes them into silly poses. You step away from the scene and go back to the house. Being a ring bearer is thirsty work, but Stan and Ford stop you before you make it to the door. Hey, thanks for playing along with Mabel for that whole wedding thing. We're both very glad you're willing to entertain her when we're gone. She, didn't make you do it, did she? No, she didn't. She needed a ring bearer, and I stepped up to help. Stan and Ford arch matching eyebrows at you. I'm very invested in the marriage of a goat and a pig, you know. Three of you laugh, and Stan pats her shoulder. Ford gives you a warm smile. Well, I'm glad you're as into all that as she is. Thank you for that. Yeah, kid, it's nice of you to be, nice to her, you know? Stan clears his throat, awkwardly rubbing the back of his neck. Thanks for playing with Mabel and her weird wedding thing. Looks like she likes you. It's not hard, but still. He gives you a genuinely grateful smile that you easily return. It's no problem. I'm happy to keep her and Dipper happy where I can. Stan nods at you, pink in the cheeks, before going past you and heading into the house. You swear you see Ford give him a funny look, but you could just be imagining it. Hey, you're gonna miss the party! We got popsicles! I call the red ones. pineapple ones are mine. I call dibs. But the pineapple ones are the best ones! Mabel and Stan wrestle over the yellow popsicle while Dipper contentedly unwraps a red one, holding it above his head and out of Gromper's way. Ford gingerly picks out a purple ice pop and leaves the ice chest open for you to grab one as well. While Stan and Mabel aren't looking, you hide the pineapple popsicles at the bottom of the chest. Dipper sees and starts laughing, but doesn't tell. They're a strange bunch, these two sets of Pines twins. They certainly are making your summer a lot more exciting as your stay at the Mystery Shack continues. Your wreck of a car sitting outside in the heat of the setting sun. Another day of summer with nothing to do but wait. Your schedule's surprisingly clear today. Stan usually has something going on for you to help with, and if not, Ford, Sush, or the kids do. Who do you want to find? We're sticking with Stan. You pass through the living room, and Mabel spots you from her seat at the table. I was hoping I'd see you. Come on, I want to ask you something. Mabel points down at the table with a raspberry pink colored pencil. Her art supplies scattered across the table lie in various sheets of paper with brightly colored doodles and lots of glitter. You see a drawing that looks like a cross between Barney and Godzilla, a page full of puppies, a page with a drawing that kind of looks like you with... Is that Ford or Stan? Mabel's not finished with it yet, but the telltale jawline gives it away. You sit down at the table across from Mabel and suddenly get the same feeling that you get in a job interview. It's intensified when she pushes her organized chaos of papers aside and steeples her fingers over the table's surface. I'll be frank. I'm trying to find a match for my grunkles for a while, but I never seem to get their matches made. I'm sorry, a match? But then it's like you were pulled from thin air, attracted to the shack by a magnet of love. It was a sign, and this week just made the chemistry you share with him obvious. You know who I'm talking about, right? Stan. Exactly! Grunkle Stan says he's not looking for love anymore, but I think that he says that for every rejection. He's a romantic, after every rejection, he's a romantic deep down. I can feel it. And you know what they say, even if you're not looking for it, love will find you no matter what. Love? That's a jump to say the least. You certainly had enough time to form an opinion of Stan, and it shifted and changed with every additional minute. He's got his own fair share of mysteries, and damn it, you're curious. There's plenty of potential there. I can see it in your face. You know what will really get this chemistry going? Talking to him? What? No, I'm thinking of something more romantic. Hold on, I'm getting an idea. I'll get everything ready. Just you focus on falling completely and utterly in love. Matchmaker Mabel's back in the game. Just as you exit the talk with Mabel, you run into Dipper right outside the living room. And it doesn't seem like an accident either. His arms are crossed and he's looking at you dubiously. So I heard about Mabel's plan. How did you... I just left the room. Yeah, well, word travels fast, and Mabel sends out mass update texts. His defensive posture softens a little bit. Tell me one thing. I know my grunkles can look after themselves, but can you promise me you won't hurt Grunkle Stan? You can trust me. Okay, I'm remembering that. Text notification sounds and Dipper checks his phone. And be ready tomorrow afternoon? For your lakeside date with Grunkle Stan? This feels awkward enough. No offense. It's just, my Grunkle Stan actually going on a date? Do old people even date? It's kind of hard to wrap my head around. I hope Mabel doesn't ask me for my help tomorrow. I mean, I have enough trouble trying to date for myself. Hey, Dip Top, I'm gonna need your help tomorrow. Well, never mind. At night, you head back to your room, ready to go to bed, but mentally still stuck on that interesting conversation earlier with Mabel. Mabel already put her plan into motion over dinner. Turns out, Stan had been planning to take the kids to the lake tomorrow to go fishing, and lucky you, Mabel managed to score you an invite. Waddles joins you, surprisingly, and you have some fun petting his belly and taking pictures as a distraction for your thoughts. It's almost like you knew something was up. Or did Mabel send him? Is he infiltrating your safety zone for intel? You decide not, laying back on your mattress to try and relax. Waddles settles by your side, snuggling up. Thanks for the support, little buddy. Eventually, you get tired of your phone and decide to close your eyes, but you just can't stop thinking about what Mabel said. Stan, a romantic? Is that what Mabel said? Yeah, right. No way. Maybe charming in his own way, sure, but the type of guy to go on an actual date? Planned by Mabel? What was Mabel planning anyway? She might go for something fancy or formal, but Stan really seems in his element with the hands-on nitty-gritty stuff. Hopefully calling it a date won't ruin the natural thing you have going. Your eyes finally close for good, feeling weighed down and heavy. You give Waddles a pat while you still can before slipping into unconsciousness. You slip out of a dream and back into your room. In real life, the sky is light outside, and groggily you feel it. You feel regret as you realize Waddle's comforting weight isn't there anymore. Wait, that's not what you're regretting. You're regretting the end of what you feel like was a really good dream. Stan had taken you out with him to the lake, you think, and somehow ended up in the water, and sunlight streamed down on him as he grinned at you, and his white shirt sticking to his wet skin. That'd be a date, alright, but it's the last thing you expect from today. Laughing quietly at yourself, you glance at the clock and see it's time to get ready for the date anyway. A little while later, you're dressed for a day at the lake, meaning dressed for a regular day of summer. You're not quite sure what to expect, so you keep it casual. You would have eaten breakfast with Stan and the kids, but you were barred from the kitchen by Mabel, who was shielding you from a surprise. Instead, you were handed a sliceless toast topped with an oddly cheerful sunny-side-up egg and waved outside. Now that you're out in the sunlight, you can see that Mabel snuck a smiley's face sticker on top of the egg. You peel it off with a shrug and dig in. Leaning against the scarlet door of the El Diablo, you stare up at the totem pole outside the shack, thinking about how it both stands out and fits in perfectly with the shack's aesthetic. It's obviously part of the weirdness of the tourist stop, but you're not sure why. It looks pretty well made, even if it's kind of creepy that whenever you move your eyes to the eyes at the top seem to follow you. Suddenly, the front door of the house bursts open, and a flurry of sequins and glittery hair clips flies out, attached to a very excited Mabel. Are you ready? You're not spying any conspiratorial nudges or winks, so you kind of think that Mabel's dropped the whole date setup thing, at least for the moment. For what, fishing? Yeah, aren't you excited? This isn't just regular lake fishing, this is Lake Gravity Falls fishing, where adventure awaits, dangers hot on your heels, and the islands shift and move in the corners of your eyes. I'm sorry, the what move? Are we talking about Scuttlebutt Island? I love telling that one. We were out on the shore, right, and we saw this giant... Hey, you kids better not be giving the lake monster story again. Stan comes out of the shack with several fishing rods in the crook of his arm, as well as a large tackle box in his right hand. His other hands are 4 fishing hats with haphazard embroidery on the front of 2 of them. Closer look reveals that they are names stitched into the hats reading Mabel and Dippy. Grunkle Stan, you don't have to pretend to not believe us anymore. I swear it really happened. It just rose right out of the water and started chasing us. And we had to row back as fast as we could. It was speaking in a creepy monster language and... What did I say? No more of that monster talk or you're gonna scare him away. Both kids look a little disappointed, but leave it at that. Stan puts on a smile and drops Dipper and Mabel's respective fishing hats on their heads. Mabel tugs hers on while running to the car while Dipper follows, exchanging his usual hat for the fishing one. Stan looks to them and then turns to face you. Eh, kids love to exaggerate. Pretty sure it wasn't that terrifying. Besides, I've been through worse. You hear that, kids? Only your Grunkle Stan's got the right to complain. Stan hefts the fishing supplies over one arm, using the other to dig around in his pocket for car keys. He tosses the rods, hats, and tackle box inside. Mabel's hand darts in before he closes the trunk, grabbing a hat. Before you can tell what it says, it's shoved back into your hands, and you smooth out the fabric to read, Novice. Stan groans. Mabel, I thought I told you I wasn't gonna give it to him. But you worked so hard stitching it this morning. You got the letters the right way on, mostly. Mabel gets back to next to Dipper, leaving you to look at the hat more closely. The sewing's a little messy around one of the letters, and one of the letters is backwards, but Stan clearly put some amount of care into it. Speaking of Stan, you're staring at the hat Mabel shoved at you, thinking of something to say. Did you really make this for me? Stan scratches the back of his head and shrugs a little. Yeah, Mabel wouldn't let me leave until I made you one. Said it was nicer if all of us had matching hats or something. Immediately put the hat on. He doesn't respond, just reaching up and closes the trunk, but you see he looks almost too privately pleased to give comment. Come on, let's go to the lake where all those tourists get all the good parking spots. Parking lot is far less packed than Stan made it out to be. The weather brought out the true fishing fanatics, and you recognize a few customers from the shack's gift shop milling about. There are a couple of clouds out, but the sun shines warm against your skin, and as you step out of the car, you shield your eyes from the light as you look over the lake. A few boats bobbing up and down in the blue-gray water sport telltale signs of fellow fishers. with poles sticking out all over the boat's edges, but some people are just relaxing in the water. Families sit on beach towels and sunbathe, and you spot a couple of kids standing in line for a hot dog stand. For a small town, this place is pretty lively. Mabel and Dipper run out to the shore, where a splash from Mabel soon devolves them into a contest of who can splash who the worst. You grin at them and their laughter, but a quiet grunt from behind you catches your attention. Left to get everything out of the trunk, Stan struggles to get the fishing equipment out without dropping anything. Hey, need some help? Stan glances up at you. It's not really that much, you know. Not even a couple of poles. Stan considers this for a moment and hands you 2 of the 4 fishing poles. Think you hold your own? What, under the crushing weight of a couple fishing poles? I think I can manage. You hear Mabel's voice from the distance away to the shore. Truce, hold on, I got a phone call. You see Mabel taking out her cell phone as Dipper takes the opportunity to start wringing out parts of his shirt. Uh-huh. Okay, I'll be there in 5. Bye, Grenda. Mabel hangs up and rushes to you and Stan. Grunkle Stan, I'm really sorry, but an emergency is happening right now as we speak. What, is someone dying? No, the opposite. Birthing. Grenda Jr. is having a baby right now, and Grenda needs me for motherly support. Grunkle Stan, you gotta let me go. Stan scratches his head and frowns. I don't know, sweetie. I thought we were all gonna go fishing today. Can't you hold it in? Is that a thing that happens? No, it's not every day. I get to see the wonders of iguana childbirth. Grunkle Stan, please. That's also, it's an iguana, so egg. Mabel gives him those patented Mabel puppy eyes. Stan lets out a heavy sigh, shakes his head, and smiles. All right, Pumpkin, go on. I know your friend's waiting for you. Thank you, Bella, thank you. Mabel wraps up her arms around Stan's waist, gives him a big, strong hug, and her wide grin never falters. She then lets go and grabs Dipper's wrist before dashing off. Had to take in Dipper for moral support. Wait, I didn't agree to this, Mabel. Mabel! I thought lizards hatched from eggs. I thought so too, but hell, I've seen weirder. Best not to question it, kid. Before you delve too deeply into the thought of live-birthed lizards, your phone buzzes in your pocket. You pull it out. It's a text from Mabel. Hi, I fixed it up so you get a whole day with Grunkle Stan. Have fun, winky face. Oh shoot, I gotta go. Grenda says Grenda is getting closer to baby time. See ya! That clever little devil. Something wrong? Nah, just Mabel saying she's going to send lots of pictures of the newborn lizard. Well, come on, let's get to fishing before it gets dark out. Towards the end of the first pier, docked with only a frayed length of rope, is a sad-looking dinghy with the words Stan Award brushed in thick black paint. You notice a small rusting motor on the stern that looks as if it's going to fall apart at any moment, and what looks like a hastily made patch on the side. There's no way this thing is watertight. Stan sets the 2 poles down inside along with the tackle box and gestures at the boat. There she is, a beauty, ain't she? Well, you look at Stan in the back of the boat and then back at him. It's a bit small, don't you think? Stan crosses his arms. What, are you saying you got a problem with my boat? No, it's just... Compliment the man's boat. Carp capacity. Where are we gonna put all the massive amounts of fish we're about to catch? Stan laughs at that, his expression brightening. Optimistic, I like it. I'm gonna reel in so much fish it'll be coming out of your ears, Stanley Pines. Alright, hotshot, I'll hold you to that. Stan climbs down into the boat first and then offers you his hand to steady yourself as you follow him down. The boat wobbles a little, swaying dangerously away from your body, but Stan's grip is firm and you're able to get into the boat without incident. Oh there, careful now. Wouldn't want you getting wet before we even started. Footing's a little tricky, see? That plank has a habit of moving and tipping this boat the whole way over, and when that happens, you want to swing your weight over here. Okay, no, I'm getting out. Stan chuckles heartily, making it clear that he was joking. In your relief, you notice that he's still holding your hand from the assist earlier. I'm just messing with you, don't worry. You're not gonna get wet, Toots. You're in good hands. And this is the only fishing vessel I own. The other bigger one's called the Stan of War 2. Creative. I'm not joking this time, I got pictures. Hold on, and you quit standing, take a seat. I don't want to lose your balance. You sit and watch Stan as Stan digs out his wallet and opens it. It's full of photos that several come free, fluttering down to the floor of the boat. As you come up, you see the pictures of Seuss, the kids, and a teenager you've been told is Wendy. This is the Stan of War 2. Stan hands you an unfolded photo which depicts him and Ford standing proudly on the deck of a comparatively larger, newer, and safer-looking vessel than the one you're in now. It's docked in a place you don't recognize. The sky is bright blue and cloudless. She's a resilient one, sailed all over and never let me down once. Well, until me and Ford came back to Oregon. Then poof, she sputtered out and we had to send her in for repairs. Something about sailing in extreme environments. Point is, I'm back down to the Stand of War Mark 1 over here. This old girl's got her quirks, but she's reliable. I'm guessing this one needs fixing pretty often. Just like my El Diablo, every time it broke down, I just fix it up again. Learn real quick what to do and what not to do under the hood. He chuckles to himself and dusts off his hands, presenting his outstretched palm to you. See that big scar across my right palm? I told the kids I got it fighting off a grizzly bear. You should have seen the looks on their faces. Thought I was some kind of hero, you know? But real story is I burned it on the engine when I was 16. Must have thought I was hot stuff trying to change the oil while the car was running. Oh my god, were you alright? That must have been painful. And my pops called me an idiot for thinking the engine wasn't hot, but my mom cleaned me up in the end. You remember you're still holding his photos and you hand them all back, which he returns to his wallet with some difficulty. Hey, does that wallet just carry photos or does it hold money from time to time? Oh. Stan chuckles at your teasing. Nah, I keep a lot of photos in there to remember. Keeps me grounded. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. Stan turns, busying himself with cranking the motor, and with a few pulls it sputters to life, expelling a thick plume of exhaust. He coughs and attempts to wave it away quickly. Stan gives the motor a couple of good thumps and quits coughing, the engine smoothing out to a much gentler thrum. From there, he is back to focusing on untying the boat from the pier and easing it onto the open water of the lake. Glancing around, you spot two policemen from your night in the clink, and you quickly duck out of sight, hoping to avoid being seen. Stan turns his head and notices you crouched on the bottom of the boat and quirks an eyebrow. You hiding from the sun or something? No, it's just two cops from a few days ago. Stan whips his head around and spots him and lets out a laugh so loud it startles you. Ooh, Blubs and Durland? I told you, those two are harmless, and besides, I think today they're a little more focused on each other than us. You peek your head up out of the edge of the boat, and just enough to check out Stan's claim, and sure enough, the two cops seem to be engrossed only in each other, laughing and applying sunscreen to each other's skin. It's cute, you think, and a relief that they're not on the lookout to arrest you and Stan again. Thank goodness, that cell was way too cold to go back to. Stan gives you a nod of agreement, opening the tackle box. There's a bunch of colorful lures inside, a few hooks, and some spare string for the poles. He motions for you to hand him your pole, and within moments he's got a hook tied to the end of your line. You a live bait or a lure kind of person? Lure. Gotcha, I'm a live bait man myself. Bet I can swing you over to my side in no time. Admittedly, I'm not a fishing person in real life. Like, the idea of stabbing a thing in the mouth to catch it isn't my vibe at all. Two of you settle in relative quiet. As you wait for a bite, you look over at the lake at the other people outside today. Whether because he had noticed or whether he was just filling the lull in the conversation, Stan starts pointing out faces of the locals, putting names to them, and giving you a little background on each person. You quickly realize the background info he gives has too much of his opinion mixed in to be useful, but try to remember their names anyway. Still, time passes easily, and you soon find yourself reeling in quite a few catches of your own. Looking over at Stan, you've clearly managed to catch more, but he dismisses the difference with the excuse that his luck's just waiting to kick in any moment now. Seriously, any moment. He glares at the lake for a minute, and then lets go, leaning back with a sigh. I think it's time for a water break, don't you? Trying to distract me so you'll gain the advantage? Hey, if you faint out there, it's not gonna be on me, kid. You want a bottle or not? Okay, toss me one, would you? He leans down and digs around the bottom of the boat towards the bow and comes away with 2 bottles of water, wet with condensation. He smiles up and tosses you the bottle, and you catch it, twisting up the cap and taking a grateful sip. Until now, you hadn't realized how thirsty you actually were. Stan takes out his own bottle and starts chugging the water, clearly more thirsty than you are. Some of the water slips past the opening and drips down his chin and onto his shirt, darkening the fabric. Your palms suddenly feel very sweaty, mom's spaghetti, and you can't look away. Stan notices you staring and swallows, taking the bottle away, licking the stray moisture off his lips. Your eyes both meet, and for a long moment, you both stare at each other, neither daring to take a breath. Stan licks his lips again, slowly this time, almost deliberately so. The sound of a boat motor breaks the silence, and you whip your head around just in time to see a speedboat tear past at a speed that's definitely illegal for a lake as small as this one. You have half a mind to share a very rude gesture to the driver, but suddenly Stan's grabbing your hand and shouting, "Look out!" Because the massive wave created by the speedboat's wake is headed in your direction, and it slams in the dinghy and rocks it off balance. tipping you dangerously to one side before dumping you both into the water, fish and all. The water's cold, almost bitterly so for being in the middle of the summer, and despite surfacing nearly instantly, you're already soaked and shivering. The poles, the tackle box, and the fish are all gone, and the boat floats up upturned some distance to your right. You swim over to it and grip the curved underbelly, gasping for air. You're Stan sputtering behind you, making his way to the boat. He's yelling at the offending boat, using some very colorful terms you've never heard before, but make a mental note to remember later for posterity. Once he makes it to the stand of water, he sags heavily against the wood, taking in deep, measured breaths. He, too, is completely soaked, and his wet shirt clings tightly to his body. As his chest heaves, you can't help but look your fill, and then pretend to be very invested in scanning the lake for the two policemen when Stan looks your way. Well, that's one disaster of a fishing trip. You can say that again. Stan lets out a disappointed groan and starts pulling off his jacket before tossing it to the upturned boat. Are we gonna tell Dipper and Mabel that their old uncle's lost his fishing touch? Ah, you wish. I could outfish you any day. I'd like to see you try, old man. Old man, why I oughta... He splashes water on you and you shriek in mock outrage before a wicked grin fills your face. I'm gonna dunk him. Go big or go home, as the saying goes. You shove Stan under the water for a brief moment, and he comes up coughing and spitting water, and less thrilled than you had initially hoped. What are you trying to do, kid? Kill me? The sound of an air horn led by Durlin saves you from the awkward moment, and you breathe a sigh of relief knowing you're about to be rescued. The ride back to shore is a quiet one, and you take the opportunity to start wringing the hem of your shirt. Everything smells like briny lake water, and you wrinkle your nose at the scent. Definitely not the most glamorous end to a fishing trip, you think. The walk back to the car is slow. Honestly, wait. Oh, I can't take back the decision. Damn. I wanted to see. Leaf after the adrenaline rush you just had a little while ago. Stan's wringing his jacket, muttering under his cold breath something about damaging good Moroccan leather when a sudden and violent cold chill runs through your body. Despite the warmth of the sun, your soaked clothes and clammy skin from the water all catch up at once and you start shivering. Ah, geez, here, take my jacket. Before you can protest, Stan's draping his jacket around your shoulders. It's damp, but you're immediately surrounded by a sense of warmth, and your chills subside just a little bit. Somehow, despite having taken a dunk in the lake along with the rest of him, the jacket smells good. It's got a faint woodsy smell to it, a hint of smokiness. It takes everything in you not to bury your nose into the thick of it. While you're busy taking in the jacket, Stan hops into the driver's seat and has the El Diablo cranked and running in a flash. Need a ride back? Stan, you are my ride. I know, I'm just teasing ya. He reaches across the bench and the bench seat and opens the passenger door, motioning for you to come inside. Come on, let's get back to the shack. It's a lot warmer in here than out there, you know. Stan flicks on the radio once you're cruising down the road and a good song comes on. One you both know the words to. Stan's humming along quietly and you pretend not to notice, not wanting to ruin a good thing. The breeze from the open window is calming and the trees whiz by. You don't regret getting soaked anymore. It's not long before Stan pulls up to the shack and shuts off the El Diablo, and you both exit the car. Your limbs crack and pop from the exertion, and only now do you realize just how exhausted you feel from the day's adventure. You'd kill for a nice warm dry bed right about now. Hey, halts for a moment and scratches the back of his head nervously. He's looking at the ground, shuffling his feet back and forth, trying to find the right words to say. I feel kind of bad about getting y'all soaked today. I promised you'd be in good hands, and then everything went right to hell in a handbasket, didn't it? It's fine, really. Do you like campfires? What? I asked if you like campfires. Yeah. Great, I'll be, just a few minutes. You're left confused and standing in the backyard of the shack as Stan dashes inside, slamming the door shut as he goes. A chill breeze whips through the trees and you shiver. Despite Stan's jacket, you're still a little damp, and being exposed like this certainly doesn't help matters. You check your phone, and after several minutes are ready to give up and head inside the shack when Stan comes through the back door, arms full of marshmallows. Come here, I want to show you something. Curious, you follow him over to what appears to be a makeshift fire pit. There's already wood and kindling inside, and part of you wonders if Stan always keeps firewood laying around, or if he's prepared to do this just for you. He pulls a book of matches from his pocket and strikes a match. The head bursting into a bright yellow flame, he tosses it into the wood pile. Gradually, the kindling ignites. It's not long before you have a modest but warm fire at your feet. You're still pretty damp, and I'm sure you're hungry as hell since we didn't catch any fish, so... He trails off and gestures to the fire and the marshmallows again. Least I could do for screwing up your day. Stan? Thank you. I really needed this fire. Gives you an easy smile in return. Glad I could help. Hell, I need this too. I took more of a dip than you did. No way. I'm way more soaked than you are. Want to bet? You both laugh, settling down by the fire to finally warm up. You're not sure how long you sit out by the fire roasting marshmallows over the open flame. Stan's burnt his mouth more times than you can count trying to eat a marshmallow far too soon, and you burnt enough of the treat to make even the Stay Puft Man weep. Stan plucks another marshmallow out of the bag and turns it over in his fingers a few times like he's contemplating something before turning back to face you. Ever play catch with these? Huh? I mean, toss them up and try to catch them with your mouth. Who doesn't do that? Thought I'd ask. You never know with some people these days. Suddenly, a grin spreads across his lips, and he tosses the marshmallow up into the air straight towards you. Catch! You lean back and watches the marshmallow slowly arcs and falls towards you. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. It sails past your cheek and lands on the ground. Stan makes a disappointed noise, but you pluck the marshmallow off the ground anyway and pop it into your mouth. Close enough. Suddenly, the back door flies open, and out come Dipper and Mabel, running up to the campfire excitedly. They're both in pajamas, but look wide awake as ever, and they're already snatching up the marshmallow bag to dig in. Those marshmallows? Come on, Grunkle Stan, why did you tell us you were roasting marshmallows? Because you should be in bed, Pumpkin, that's why. He ruffles Mabel's hair affectionately and pulls her into his lap, handing her his roasted stick. Nope, we're teenagers now. Teenagers don't have bedtimes. Yeah, exactly. So, Grunkle Stan, answer still no, kid. You cannot go out on a 3-day camping trip to track ghost prints. Grunkle Ford supports my theory. If you ask me, your Grunkle Ford needs a bedtime too. Like, how is the live lizard birth? Oh, it was exciting. Grenda Jr. was so relaxed she didn't even realize Grenda Jr. Extreme was being born. Grenda Jr. Extreme. Grenda Jr. Extreme is a great name. And then, wait, Dipper, you tell him the rest. Why don't you keep telling it? I didn't get a good look. But I gave you a front seat right next to me. You saw the whole thing up close, intimately, unforgettably. Dipper shivers, and not from the chill of the night air. Okay, fine. So Greta Jr. Extreme imprinted on Dipper. Isn't that the cutest thing? Little dip-top mom. It's not, and I'm not little. I'm manly. You and Stan chuckle at the kids' antics. You give each other knowing glances as you each pop another marshmallow into your mouths. The fire crackles, and you draw Stan's jacket further around yourself, feeling truly warm for the first time today. This love meter is not filling that fast. I'm curious how long this game is. It's a new day, and you wake up early, grasped with the desire to go outdoors. You decide breakfast, for one, doesn't sound too bad. Maybe a walk, Greasy's isn't too far, and the food there was pretty good. You'll be back before anyone even knows you're gone. To bend against the morning chill, you pull on Stan's jacket, which you haven't yet returned from yesterday. You didn't see him when you got up, so it wouldn't hurt to wear it one more time, would it? When you arrive at Greasy's diner, you're immediately greeted with the scent of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon. Looking around the other diners, you guess this is the breakfast rush. Of course, in a small town like this, that means about a dozen or so other people are here. You've only been in Gravity Falls a week, but you're starting to learn some of the names, and Stan's refresher yesterday helped some too. Like the big burly guy over there with the bushy red beard is... You're struggling to recall his name. Let's see, it was... I think it's Dan, Manly Dan. Hey, Dan! Yeah, Manly Dan. Huh? Yeah, that tourist staying with the Pines. The kids are off somewhere else, so I got an open seat if you need it. It'd be nice to talk with someone other than Pines for once. Well, fun. Their hijinks can even get tiring, even for you. Do I talk to Manly Dan, or do I sit by myself? I feel like Stan's gonna come in and people are gonna be like, oh man. Like they're gonna see me talking with somebody else. I'm gonna sit by myself. Thanks for the offer, but I'll have to pass today. Suit yourself. After a few minutes, the waitress approaches you, but you recognize her as Lazy Susan. The stranger, not here at the Pines this time, huh? What's your name, anyway? Well, what can I get for you? She leaves you alone in your booth, left to wait, your thoughts drift towards Stan. Your eyes drift easily closed, and you find it still early enough in the morning to be tired. The comforting weight of his jacket on you, you imagine how Stan's embrace might feel with those strong arms around you. He used to box, didn't he? You wonder how he'd look like that, and then you remember his offer to teach you a thing or two, and imagine how he'd look giving you private lessons. Despite knowing it'd be unrealistic. Oh god. Image comes to mind anyway. You snap back to a sudden awareness of your surroundings, face flushed with the heat of embarrassment. You shake off those thoughts. Where's the chill of the morning when you need it? At that moment, Lazy Susan comes back with your order. God, it smells really good. So I've been seeing you around here at the Pines, and I haven't had the chance to talk to you yet. Mind if I stay for a bit? Not at all. Let's hear about Stan. You know Stan Pines? Who doesn't? He's a real charmer, handsome fella. We almost had something once, but it didn't work out. It's so strange. I called him every night. How are things going with him? What? You do look close. Saw you on the lake while I was fishing for dinner. Bet he's the real catch of the day, am I right? Lazy Susan elbows you companionably, but you're speechless. She winds down with a sigh. Am I right? I'm right. How long have you lived in Gravity Falls? My whole life. Besides what happened last summer, it's always been a nice town. Nice people and nice food, right? It's great, but what happened last summer, if you don't mind me asking? Well, never mind all that. Are you the owner? Oh gosh, no, I'm just a waitress. Been here ever since I was a teenager. Me and Matilda have been the only waitresses here for years, but we've had a promising new trainee working since the spring. She points out the window where a blonde girl around Mabel's age is shooing a raccoon away from the diner's trash cans. Lazy Susan puts her hands on her hips with pride. We're starting around small. Woodpeckers next. Well, I better get back to work. It was nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Enjoy your breakfast. I thought for some reason I was talking. You do, digging back into your breakfast with gusto until your meal is again interrupted, this time by the buzzing of your phone from inside your pocket. It's a call from a number you don't recognize. Do I answer? I feel like I would know. Maybe this one won't be from Telemarketer. Hello? This novice? Stan? Yeah, it's me, look. Got a surprise waiting for you back at the shack. Think you can get back over here when, here from wherever you are? Surprise sounds intriguing, so you promise to be there after breakfast. It's not long till you finish up, pay for your food, and head out after the door. As you approach the shack, you spot Stan already outside. I was about to call again, make sure you get lost. Do you plan this sort of timing, or what? He comes naturally. What's the thing you wanted to show me? You'll see, just follow me. Stan leads you to a room in the back of the shack that you remember being used mostly as storage space. Now, though, the furniture there has been pushed aside and the boxes have been stacked against the walls to make room for what looks like a boxing ring. It looks ragtagged and hand-constructed and distinctly homemade. He pulled this together in just the morning? More than that, are you psychic? You just left your boxing lesson fantasy on hold at the diner. Started putting this together last night after everyone went to bed. I was admiring my new clowning again, thinking about our drive last week, and I remembered I offered to show you how to throw a better punch. Stan shrugs, casual as though he hadn't already put loads of work into what he's prepared for you. What do you think? Ready to learn how to hit? Absolutely. Someone's eager. He grins, though, relieved, and it's like a weight came off his shoulders. Did he think you might have said no? Well, here. From his pockets, he pulls out a roll of looks like gauze tape. Or even we do anything. You gotta wrap your hands properly. You could get hurt otherwise. He takes one of your hands, looping the tape around your thumb and winding it around your wrist, then up your hand, wrapping it snugly. He pulls the tape between and through your fingers as they rest on his palm. His hand is warm, the warmth seeping into yours as he holds it. It's faint, but you can feel the roughness of his palm as you watch as he works, confident but still careful. It shouldn't affect you nearly as much as it does. You should feel natural, grateful, nothing more, but neutral, grateful, nothing more. But when it's him, the two of you are nearly face to face. The act holds an undeniable intimacy. He pulls the tape back around your thumb and then around your knuckles expertly. It feels tight. Not tight, secure. Stan finishes the wrap at the wrist, and you watch him pull the tape towards his mouth. Clenching it between his teeth, he jerks his head to sever it. The remainder is wrapped back around, snug and complete. Stan smiles down at his work. He doesn't look up at you yet, but if he had, you would have been embarrassed by the expression that's on your face. Other hand now. You offer your other hand, and he starts on it, same as before. This time you watch the act less and watch the look in his eyes more. It's his focus you find and care underneath it. You can see in every pull and twist of the tape. Conviction to protect, secure. You're so lost in the sight that before you know it, he's done and looking at you again. Alright, not too tight, is it? No. Let me show you how you should be standing. Standing? Is there something wrong with your posture right now? Stan starts giving you some explanation, but the moment he steps up to you and places a hand at the small of your back to guide you, words lose their meaning. You don't want to be too stiff, you see. He directs you, smoothing out the line of your shoulders, widening your stance, placing guiding hands to show you how you should be positioning yourself. He's talking again, but you're more than a little distracted. And that's why we do that. Makes sense? Yeah. Good, now on to the punching. I got some personal experience with the way you hit. I already apologized for that. And it could use a lot of work, kid. I'm telling you, I barely felt it. Here's how to direct that strength. He demonstrates, moving to your right to assume the same stance he's guided you into, and swinging through empty air. He does it again, slower this time, for him to explain how to shift your weight, where to start from, and where to go. Then it's your turn, and after a couple of swings on your own, the hands-on guidance is back. Stan's hands first resting briefly at your waist to adjust the twist of your torso. Next, go to your shoulders, nudging him to a better balance. He then corrects the movements of your arms, and the chest is warmed at your back, and then he reaches to show you where to go. Your breath catches. Yeah, there! Damn, you almost had it. Try it again. Come back here, and... Actually, I think it'd help if I had something to hit. Sure, we can... You sure you want to go on? You're looking kind of red. This unexpected intimacy is a little overwhelming right now, and he's still so close to you. Especially after what you heard at the diner today, and whatever you have with him is obvious. It has you a little on edge. It's fine. You put this whole room together, and we haven't even used it yet. We should. For that, you're gonna need these. He holds up a pair of standard, albeit old, boxing gloves, handing them to you. You have some trouble putting them on. They're a little big. Hold on, let me do it. I'll lace them up for you. He takes your hand again, like earlier, pulling the laces of the glove tighter and tighter until the fit is snug. That too tight? No, it's fine. He ties it off and takes your other hand, cradling in his own for a moment before his hands move up, brushing along your wrist. He pulls the laces together, and as he does, you steal a look at his face. There's that same focus, that same care. The longer you stare, the more you feel heat rushing to your face, turning it red. How about that? It feels perfect. He looks up and his eyes lock with yours. He looks away, clearing his throat with a gruff cough, and you notice now that his face is pink. We should, get started. It's nice to see that you aren't the only one affected. As you watch Stan quickly wrap up his own hands with a lingering blush on his face. He pulls a pink pair of fingerless gloves next and walks to the makeshift ring. You're gonna try and land a hit on me, alright? What, you're just gonna stand there and let me hit you? Stan laughs, shaking his head. You think I'd make it that easy on you? No, I'm gonna be hitting back. Of course, I'm not gonna let any of my hits land, but I'll stall you long enough to make it a challenge. Remember what I showed you, jab, swing, and block. Putting them in action is just the next step. Box is pretty simple when you get down to it, but it's all in the timing. You need to know what the other person in the ring's thinking. It's almost like a dance. The other person in the ring, even though you're up against each other, they're just as much your partner as they are your opponent. Even though you're going head to head, you have to be willing to get intimate with them, knowing the right moves at the right time and in the right place. You wind up forming a bond with your opponent. You nod and step up to join him in the ring. Where'd you learn so much about boxing? Well, when we were kids, my brother and I had it a little rough. We weren't too popular with the other kids in the neighborhood. So our old man put us through boxing lessons. He wanted us to be tougher. My brother couldn't quite take to it, not exactly. Poindexter couldn't ace the lessons, same as how Poindexter could ace the lessons, same as he was good at anything he put that big old brain towards, but he quit first chance he could. Me? What else did I have going for me, you know? If anything, I had to be tough enough to protect him, to keep us all safe. I've always got to be the tough one, I always have been. It's hard, but sooner or later, you forget what it's like not to have to feel tough. So I guess you could say it gets easier. After Ford and I... After I left home, I was on the road for a bit, got my fair share of trouble that followed me around wherever I went. But I was fine. I was tough enough. I knew how to fight, and it got me far enough, didn't it? It's gotten me through all these years, and here I am with you. His eyes seem to glisten, but he looks away before you can tell for sure. He smiles with that big, raucous grin as though to reassure you. He fakes a cough and wipes at his nose. Geez, it's so dusty back here. We might as well get started already, huh? You probably don't want to listen to me rambling all day. Like I said, time is key. Is it time to make that big swing? Or will they be able to block it? Sometimes it's just smarter to take a quick jab. Even if you don't hit hard, being quick enough to wear your opponent down and keeping them blocked is good enough to get you there. So let's dance. Oh. Okay. Jab. Slow and steady, right? I should just wear him down eventually. Stan doesn't look like he's tiring out anytime soon. It's even match. You can feel your confidence rising. It's an even match. You can feel your confidence rising. You're wearing him down all right, but you're not feeling too hot of yourself. You have to call it. You don't have the energy left in you. Stan laughs. It's been too long since I had a decent fight. You were great. You laugh too. The two of you lock eyes again. And there it is. That warmth. That redness. You're both covered in sweat and out of breath. And even though you're both exhausted, you still pick up on a light in his eyes and an eagerness. There's something here that's waiting to break in the moment of your eye contact. Breaking the silence, you decide to be the first to act this time. You know what? I think I'd love to dance with you sometime. Yeah, we should do this again. Definitely. But I mean, like, I think I'd really like to dance with you in, like, a more literal sense, too. Not as opponents, but, like, together, you and me. You hope he feels this, too. This connection, the chemistry you have. It can't just be you. Your breath is held, nervous, when it feels like time stood still in the space of a pause. Just a second later, Stan breathes in, and then he speaks. I'd like it, you know? I'd really like that. He's smiling in a way that lights up his face like you haven't seen before. You're smiling too, wide and goofy, full of sheer giddiness you can't contain. There's something intoxicating about it. With that feeling running through you, it's a hard fall back to earth. Hey, can you help me get these gloves off? Stan laughs loud and free and obliges. It's later that day, just after dinner, and when you get around to telling Stan about your time at the diner. I guess I'm asking, is it... Oh, I keep on hitting right click by accident. What I'm asking, is it always like that around here? People talking about my love life? After you survive Mabel, everyone's a small fry. There's not much to talk about in this town, so when the tourist crashes their car into the jewel of the town at the peak of the season, that's prime material. Enough of that, though. I thought we could go have a private movie night, you know, wind down a little. I keep the movies in that cabinet there. Go pick one. You open up and reveal a stack of VHS tapes, followed by a few DVDs. Which ones do you want to watch? A documentary that you assume is Ford's. I mean, I want to watch the documentary that I assume is Ford's, but I'm going to assume that no. Classic drama. From what I know about the show, he likes them. So, a black and white movie about a young woman whose lover has to leave the country to pursue his dreams. The film's climax, right as he's about to get onto the boat and sail off for foreign lands, the lovers kiss as violins swell. They promise never to forget each other and sail away, knowing they'll never see each other again. You hear sniffing, and after confirming it didn't come from the TV, you realize it's coming to your left, from Stan. He's resolutely staring at the TV with a deep-set frown on his face, but his eyes shine with withheld tears. Huh, Stan really is a romantic at heart. Good call, Mabel. You act like you didn't notice and continue to watch as the heroine returns to her average life, clearly no longer satisfied with mundanity. Feeling comfortable, you shift your position a bit to rest your head on Stan's shoulder. Getting sleepy? A little. I gotta see how it ends. There's no way she's just gonna go on like that. Stan chuckles before making the sound of excitement. Look, this is the best part. He said that about 3 times already, but you don't mind at all. Not long after, the film concludes, leaving exactly what the woman did when she returned to the dock late night that night unclear. Setting it up for a sequel you know Stan has in his collection. The ending credits scroll across the screen against a melancholy orchestral accompaniment. That was a good movie, or that was a good movie and you're crying. The only heart that drama touched. That movie played you like a fiddle, and the tear runs down your cheek as the credits roll. You wipe it away, but Stan notices. You feel that much for him, huh? His tone gruff with the emotion he can't hide. I bet I could get Suits to write one of those fix-it stories. Really? He fixed Duck-tectives, so Duck-tective's twin brother loved him. Again, just like when they were kids. I'll see what he can whip up. By the time the credits are over, you're sleepy enough that you can't imagine getting up from your spot. Stan seems to feel the same, but the jarring shift of the TV screen from black to loud snowy static brings him to his feet. He grumbles, switching it off, but not bothering to take the tape out. You were right, that was pretty good. Of course it was. He offers you his hand to help you up out of your seat, and you accept. Your eyes meet for a moment, the faint glow of the table lamp catching them before you break the silence with a laugh, smiling tiredly. Thanks for this session today. My arms are sore, so I hope that means it's working. And you realize that your hand's still in Stan's, and he beams at you. Oh, definitely. Then good night, Stan. I'll see you in... He lets the clock. A few hours, I guess. Sure thing. Good night. Go to bed that night, comforted that perhaps Seuss's fanfiction can fix all. Why is the love meter not filling faster, Mabel? I feel like I'm doing good. What in the... When you open your eyes, you're being stared down by a fat, wet snout. Ah! Oh, Waddles, it's you. Plum Pig is lying on your chest, and boy, he's real hefty. You jolt up at the sudden voice from above you, sending Waddles flying from your chest into your lap with a scream. You turn to see Mabel, all metal-filled smile and rosy cheeks, barely able to contain her glee, despite nearly scaring the life out of you. Hey there, sleepyhead, it's lunchtime. Is it? What happened to breakfast? Unless your phone tells you slept in past noon. Instead of leaving and letting you get ready for the day, though, Mabel sits right down on the edge of your mattress with you and looks at you expectantly. So, how have things been going with Grunkle Stan? Has he told you about feelings yet? Have you two kissed? You're not sure you would tell her even if those things did happen. Sure, both things, lots of times. Ah, you're just joking! Okay, there haven't been any milestones, but things are going great, right? What do you think? Absolutely, definitely. I think you should tell him how you feel. I'll keep that in mind, but can I get changed now? Alright, silly me. Come on, Waddles. They leave and you're left to your thoughts. With all the hectic supernatural stuff in Gravity Falls, so I am aware that there is supernatural stuff. So far, they've kind of tiptoed around the fact that Gravity Falls is supernatural. But okay, so there are supernatural happenings, and I have heard about them concretely. You haven't been able to spend much significant time with Stan since his boxing session. You've only found short moments like a late-night game of cards that ran longer than expected because by the end of it you both just left the deck on the table as you listened to him tell his story about how one time he... Well, you guessed that was a significant amount of time. You never really wanted those moments to end. And just yesterday, before he came up to you in the kitchen, standing with a bowl of cereal in hand that he was apparently in the middle of eating, and basically gave you a condensed version of, if you break my twin brother's heart, I'll make you regret it. The bowl of cereal turning out to be 95% marshmallows did not make him seem any less intimidating. You're not sure why he did that. As far as you know, there's nothing official between you and Stan. Besides, Stan and Forn don't even live on land anymore. They'll be setting sail again, exploring the seas and documenting the oddities of the world from what you heard about it already. It's intense stuff that keeps them on the move and untethered. You're no expert, but your car's looking pretty close to done, meaning you'll be leaving Gravity Falls soon enough. All you can do is hope you're not leaving with any regrets. Heading out through the back door, so that you don't disturb Seuss's current tour, you round the house to where your car has stood for the past 2 weeks. Sure enough, there you find Stan, staring thoughtfully into the hood before he spots you and brightens. Hey, how's it hanging? Fancy finding you here. Outside your own house, where Ford told me you'd be. What can I say? I'm unpredictable. Never know what I'll be up to next. Your car's almost good to go as far as I can tell. I'm planning to take her for a quick test run around town to make sure. Sounds fun. Where do we go? You ain't coming. I don't want you inside if there's an explosion or something. There won't be, but it's a precaution. Okay. But if you're free tonight, I figure we could celebrate. Yeah, sure. What'd you have in mind? I can't tell you. That just ruined the surprise. All you gotta worry about is yourself. Meet me back here in a few hours and wear your best duds. Dan shoots you a wink, twirling your car keys in his fingers before he turns and gets to your car. Unsure why you couldn't go with him and hang out tonight, you wave goodbye and watch carefully as he revs the car to life. It works! And hey, no explosion. He gives you a thumbs up, which you return, and pulls out into the dirt road towards town. A handful of hours later, and it's just about time to get ready for your date. Stan got back to the shack a moment ago, and through the window you spotted Mabel talking to him outside. Though you couldn't figure out what they were saying, you laughed to yourself when she took his face in her hand, squishing his cheeks and looking him straight in the eye. A cute intimidation tactic, maybe? After rummaging through all the clothes you brought with you for your trip, you're relieved to find an outfit that fits the occasion. It's some classic. Feeling good about the outfit you chose, you head outside to meet Stan. You step out onto the back porch and are met with his back to you, looking off in the distance. You're about to call his name when he turns in your direction, and your words die on your tongue. Speechless at the sight of him. He looks handsome. Your eyes catch on the way his gold chin glints in the light, drawing your attention to his proudly exposed chest, helpfully framed by the cut of his shirt. The buttons almost strain to contain how good he looks, and your gaze follows the line lower to how Stan whistles playfully at the sight of you. Ain't you a sight for sore eyes? You're not so bad yourself. You sure clean up nicely. Once over, as though you hadn't already been looking earlier. Stan's cheeks flush the faintest pink as he smooths his jacket out in response, posture straightening proudly. This look used to be all the rage back in the day. Trends may fade, but Stan Pines has still got it. So where to? Hands in his pocket, Stan's nods over to the Stanmobile a few feet in front of you. Only one way to find out. He offers his arm and escorts you to the passenger's side, opening and shutting the door for you before heading back to the driver's side. While you were already looking forward to this, the way Stan looks makes you look all the more eager. Is that cologne? It suits him. You watch him, thinking to yourself just how crazy this all is. Your brain's telling you to get a grip, but your cheeks are beginning to ache from smiling so much, you can't bring yourself to mind. The El Diablo soon purrs to life and you're on your way. Since you don't know your destination, you're not sure how long the ride will be. Not like you might is all. You always this mysterious on your dates, luring them off into the night with the promise of a good time? Stan chuckles. Nah, only the ones I like being around. Good to know. Besides, you should definitely know what to expect from a drive with me by now. The unexpected? Bingo. You gaze out the window again, unable to keep that smile from your face. Another minute or so passes before Stan speaks again. Alright, we're almost there. Close your eyes. Really? Yes, really. And I got a blindfold in the glove box if you can't stop yourself from peeking. Somehow, it sounds like he's not joking about that last part. After what you've seen with him, it wouldn't be a surprise. You laugh, but close your eyes as he told you to. It's fine, I've got it. Promise I won't peek. Keep your eyes closed for another minute or two as Stan begins to tell you about the time he was hogtied and blindfolded by some thugs on the side of a desert road. Just as he gets to the good part about how he had to hitchhike using only his nose, the car comes to a stop. You both hear and feel Stan put the car in park and realize it's muffled. There's muffled music not far from you. Can I look now? Hold on. Stan exits the car and the footfalls tell you he's walking to your side. In a second, he's there opening your door. Can I look now? Unless you can walk with your eyes closed. You open your eyes to see a rundown diner. Greasy's diner, to be exact. The building's just about as slightly shabby in appearance as it was when you first visited, but under the glowing "We Have Food" sign is an endlessly hand-painted banner reading Disco Night, though through the windows you can spot energetic silhouettes and flashing multicolored lights. Hardly grandiose, but it's still beautiful. Oh my god, Stan. He takes your hand and helps you out of the passenger seat. What, you don't like it? You remembered. I know you've been dying to see the magic I make on the dance floor, so it's cruel to keep you waiting any longer. It'll be an honor to witness such magic in the making. Hey now, try to stay humble. As you step inside, you're greeted by the sight of the dance floor. The disco ball reflects fragments of colors, of colorful spotlights all around the room, and even the cow skull above the jukebox has the string lights wrapped around its horns. There's a good amount of people here. It's mostly older adults, which is unsurprising given the music genre. There's a few younger folk who seem to be enjoying themselves unironically. You're surprised you don't see Mabel and her friends here. Turn the music down a teeny bit. You finally look back at Stan and catch him pretending like he wasn't just watching you for your reaction seconds earlier. You didn't do all of this just for me, did you? Nah, it's a monthly thing that picked up a while back. I lend them some equipment for it every time, but I may have knocked it up a week or 4. He's smiling, so proud of himself. You roll your eyes, but give him a fond smile. Well then, let's dance already. Grabbing Stan's hand in yours, you lead him onto the dance floor, and he follows eagerly. Alright, we can start you off with something easy. Nuh-uh, I need to see your moves first. Make sure you're the real deal. Got any requests then? Yeah, freestyle. Whatever will impress me most. Stan assumes a serious pose, pausing dramatically before he busts into the cheesiest hustle move there is. My eyes! He laughs freely. Any other requests? Foxtrot's a thing, right? Can you do that? I'm not quite the young buck I used to be, but I still got some trot in me. As you dance, before you know it, the song is passed, and then another, and another. You weren't too sure at first, but Stan's actually a really good dancer. He's light on his feet, and he's definitely got rhythm. He knows just where to guide you, and how to hold you. Oh god, you hope your hands aren't sweaty. Mom spaghetti. Are you sweaty? Your face sure feels hot when he shoots you a wink before leaning you into a half turn that lands you on your back flush against his chest. You're keeping up pretty good. You having fun? He asks low in your ear in a way that makes your heart flutter as you sway together. Only because I have such an amazing partner. I can say the same thing. Stan laughs, bringing you back to face him, but the song ends only seconds later, and he releases his hold on you. It's a slow song, and Stan raises a brow at you questioningly. Let me be humble. Slow dancing's the worst, just makes me up. All you gotta do is sway, everything else is just garnish. You're about to rest your palms against his chest, but change your mind and rest them on his broad shoulders. You're almost too nervous to look him in the eye. When you chance to glance upward, you're so pleased with what you see. You've been close, intimately even, but this is a whole new ballpark. Face it, the music hasn't changed and it's so weird. It's a slow dance, they're telling me, but this is still disco. Like, not disco, but... You've been close before, intimately even, but this is a whole new ballpark. Face to face, moving slowly as one. Nothing to distract from one from the other's gaze. You try not to think about how good he smells or how comforted and electrified his hold makes you feel, and you definitely try not to think about how a slight lean forward would easily bring his lips to yours. The song changes again, almost too soon, you'd think. But Stan picks up his tempo to match, keeping your proximity the same. By now, you don't even have to look at your feet. The pace quickens, and soon you're both caught in it. A swing, a twirl, another swing, and you're dipped in Stan's arms so smoothly that it takes you a split second to realize why you're nearly upside down. Stan's grinning down on you, panting from the intense bout, holding the dip. I think I want to say I'm speechless. Having seen the love-o-meter that's been in between these days, I don't think I'm high enough to kiss him yet. Surely there are stars in your eyes as your gaze holds stands in amazement. Apparently pleased with what he sees, he laughs and brings you back up into his arms to finish off the dance just as the song ends. A quick glance around the room lets you know that most of the surrounding patrons were watching the two of you dance. You look away as you notice, some whispering and some getting back to their own technique. It's Stan who speaks first. You hungry? Not what you were expecting, but you're kind of relieved he's keeping the mood light. I'm pretty thirsty. I'll get you a soda or something. Instead of waiting for a server to come by, Stan goes straight to the counter to order. You sit in a pleasantly unsticky booth and wait for him and notice that Stan left his jacket on the seat next to you. No time, Stan returns with the 2 orders of fries and 2 shakes. He grins when he sees his jacket draped over your shoulders. Hope you don't mind, I was feeling a bit chilly. Looks good. That one looks good on you, and it's not wet this time. He sits standing right next to you. It's been a long time since I just got fries and a shake from this old diner. Not usually something my age to do, I guess. Not something people my age do. They just don't know how to have a good time. True, they're all busy having their spouses and drinking to forget. And paying taxes. Stan grasps his chest in mock horror. Don't even say that, it gives me shivers at the very thought. Ready to dig in properly, you take the fry and dip it into your chocolate shake. Stan, handful of fries ready to be shoved into his gaping mouth, looks at you like you just screamed bloody murder. What? Did you just... What, you never tried it? No, of course not. It's delicious, perfect mix of sweet and salty. Stan frowns. Don't knock it till you try it. He scoffs, picking up a fry and dipping it into your shake instead of his own and pops it into his mouth. His eyes widen and he chews in silence until he swallows. It's actually not half bad. Steal one of his fries. Seeing the moment, he's off guard to reach over a hand and snatch a fry from his plate. Hey! Payback! Stan picks your shake and gives it a big old swig. Hey! Puts it back down, licking his lips triumphantly. He's missed a spot though. There's a bit of chocolate on the left, on the side of the smirking mouth. Stan, you got some... You lift your hand to his face and wipe the chocolate with your thumb. Stan's breath hitches at your touch. When you almost absentmindedly lick the chocolate away, he's nearly beet red. Soon you slip into that comfortable silence again as you survey the crowd and the couples on the dance floor. Everyone seems to be having a good time. It's nice seeing others enjoy something Stan helped put on. It seems like he does more good than he likes to admit to himself. When he's not going on crime sprees or getting arrested, at least. Soon, you're to the ends of your cups and have picked up the last bits of your fries. Hey, you want to get out of here? Lead the way. Soon, you're back in the old Diablo, engine puttering to life as Stan screeches out of the little parking lot and onto Main Street. With the way he drives, you honestly don't know how he keeps his car in such good shape, even with his mechanic skills. But eventually, your speed becomes reasonable as Stan transitions from the asphalt road to the dirt, and you are left to realize your quick impulse isn't due to his driving, but from anticipation. You taking me for some late-night errands again? Nah, I just thought we could see where the road takes us. You know, for a small town, it sure is huge. Tell me about it. The forest's more of a trap than the shack. Worked on me just fine. I can't take all the credit on that one. Sheriff Ford's babe magnet helped. Stan barks out a laugh at that. But I was drawn to this place on my own too. I mean, it's grown on me like a fungus, sure, but it has. But I'm not the kind of guy who hikes trails or draws gnomes. That's my brother. I'd rather be in the city than the woods. Way fewer bugs, way more people to pickpocket, and not everyone knows my face. So then how does someone like you end up in a place like this? You said you were from Jersey, right? I know how everyone else has gotten here, but not you. Stan sighs as if the weight of his whole life story lies with that question. Luckily, he humors you. Long, and I mean long story short, brother and I had a falling out when we were kids. High school, I got kicked out, barely talked to him or my parents for 10 years. He moved here. I spent those years bouncing from state to state. Oregon was one of the few I hadn't been banned from. I'm sorry. Stan just scoffs. Yeah, that was far from the worst of it. He asked me to come here, shit hit the fan, and then it was another 30 years before I got to see him again. Didn't even know if he was still alive, but the reason he was gone was my fault. That's terrible. Yeah, well, it's in the past. Obviously, we're close again. Almost too close. Having to live on a boat with a nerd really tried my patience at times, I'll tell you that. Still, the complaint is fond in its gruffness. By now, it feels as though you've been driving for a good while. You're starting to wonder if Stan really does have no idea where he's going, but the thought stops in its tracks when the car makes a sharp turn on a diverging path. You catch the slightest glimpse of a wooden sign reading, "Do not enter." Stan, where are we going? Relax, I know what I'm doing. There's this real hot spot up ahead on the cliff's edge. It lets you see the whole town and the horizon and everything. Real picturesque. That sounds amazing. The car suddenly jerks left and there's a troubling bump as you go over a large redwood root. That is, if we don't die before we get there. Sorry, kid. That one was in my blind spot. It's pitch black outside, Stan. Everything's a blind spot. All right. More than one jump and we're in the one more jump and we're in the clear. You grasp the back of your seat in one hand and the car's door handle with another, unsure of how big a bump he has in mind. It's worse than you expected. Stan accelerating enough that you swear the wheels have left the ground, until landing hard enough that Stan finds it necessary to brace you with his own arm, keeping you from slamming your head in the dashboard. The Stanmobile pulls it to its destination at the cliff's edge. Just as Stan said, you have a perfect view of the whole town, the surrounding canyon, and the remarkably saucer-esque shape cut into the natural bridge. You catch Stan's pleased grin from the corner of your eye as you gasp, taking it all in. Though the sun has long since set, the small glowing streetlights from the small town illuminate the surrounding trees, providing only the slight hint of the mountain's shadows. It's not until seeing it from up here that it sinks in just how secluded from the world Gravity Falls is. It's almost like a hidden treasure among the evergreens. And though the black, thick forestry behind where you're parked might seem a little daunting alone at night, here with Stan just feels promising. I'm guessing you like it. It's beautiful. As you survey the scene, you realize the cliff seems rather untouched, save for the flimsy barrier made of wire and stakes just before its end. How'd you find this place? Well, there's the other, there's other spot just like this one that I'm told the kids call Lookout Point. Just across from us, actually. Stan points to the spot opposite of the car straight ahead. Huh. Place is so infested with teenagers, though. Saw it myself when I drove up here to help Dipper with a girl situation. Teenagers, gross. Exactly. Hits you more fully now that you're here with Stan alone, together, away from the world as you know it. You're thrilled, anxious, and suddenly don't know what to do with your hands. A nervous giggle escapes you, and Stan offers a kind and reassuring smile in return as he slings his arm around the back of his seat, crossing his leg over the other. The casual air is contagious, and you're thankful for it. So, how'd you kill time in a place like this for 30 years, besides the shack and the secret portal stuff? So he did tell us about the secret portal. The game, the dialogue is making it seem like he's just covering up all of the part of his stuff that's supernatural. He just glossed over the fact that Ford was gone for 30 years. He made it sound like he could have been gone for normal reasons. But no, we know that there was a portal. Stan laughs, scratching his cheek. Well, you know, I'm full of surprises. I'd skip town every now and then for actual supplies or a promise and hookup, but the shack's become a household name. I had to stay put for longer and longer, so, I'd make do trying to enjoy the small town thing. You settle in. You're not budging until he elaborates. Like what? The fun stuff? Like disco nights? Stan scans the horizon looking for something. Okay, there. See the bowling place? Used to have a team there. We were real good, thanks to yours truly. Till this wet blanket Toby came on board and had to use bumpers like a baby. Again, you didn't mean to laugh. Yikes. Got that right. Aside from that, there's a great taco joint and bar. The kids like to go to the arcade, and the mini golf place is pretty decent. He starts counting on his fingers. There's a mall, creepy animatronic pizza place, a public pool, which I would not recommend, by the way, unless you're into sitting in strangers' filth. Well, it sounds pretty dang fun, minus the filth part. Sounds like there's actually a lot to do around here. It's weird, ain't it? It's like you'll never hear about a place, but if the situation calls for it, it's right here in town. You really like hearing Stan talk about anything, really. The way he emotes with his hands, the grit in his voice, and the gradual increase of enthusiasm when he gets passionate, even about something small. And, of course, he never fails to make you laugh. You can listen to him all night long. So you prepare to do just that, adjusting your legs into a more relaxed position. Nothing wrong with taking advantage of the leg room in these wide bench seats. What about... Factory on the cliff nearby the weirdly shaped building. That's the club. You shoot him a look. Stan makes it through his next words laughing. That's the name, honest, you snort. Clever? The name might be questionable. The place is nice enough to only let you in if you're rich. Only ever managed to sneak in there once. Bad vibes in there. Even for someone like me. Worst of all, the food was mediocre. Not the kind of quality I didn't pay for. Graveyard. Ain't nothing special there. Not even that spooky. Sure, the grave of America's lost president is there and something about a national treasure, but I went there for myself for artifact inspection and there wasn't even a decent headstone to steal. You know, I'm surprised that that place is still even there. It used to be this attraction in the middle of town. This brat Gideon Gleeful. Hold on, Gleeful? Like Bud Gleeful, the car dealership guy Gleeful? Yep, Gideon's Bud's snot-nosed kid. They used to run this scam that made money on poor suckers' hopes and dreams by posing Gideon as a psychic. Oh no. It's just as tasteless as you're probably imagining. He'd even dance around and sing like a monkey in a tux. So what? I had a real monkey at the shack back then. Wore a hat and everything. Anyway, these idiots obviously ate it all up. He became my biggest competition and even a bigger pain in my ass. That old factory's where they used to make his merchandise. What happened to Gideon? Kid had some realizations, I guess. A lot of people in this, like a lot of people in this town. Supposedly, he's trying to get that silver spoon out of his mouth and be a normal tween like the rest of them, but who knows? Haven't heard about him, this visit, so I can't tell you for sure. That must be a good sign. There's a lull in the conversation a moment when the both of you are simply admiring the view. It seems you've inched your way closer to Stan as he was speaking, because all of a sudden you realize that your leg isn't at all that far from his. The reflection of the outside lights on Stan's glasses keeps you from being able to read his expression from this position. Let's get closer. You very nearly close the gap between you both, and it would be smooth too, if not for the creak of the patent leather seat as you shifted. Stan grins, tells you notice. Damn, time for a diversion. What's that on the other, what's that on the water tower over there? Ah, that old chestnut. What's it look like to you? A muffin? Looks like a muffin. Not sure anyone would choose that for a symbol for vandalism. Maybe it scares the hell out of anyone with a weed allergy. Maybe it's a bran muffin. He wiggles his fingers like he's telling a spooky story. With extra raisins. You know, I almost died up there once. It's a real doozy of a story. You take the bait. Oh, do tell. So he does, with his usual flourish, painting a picture of the time he and his great niece bravely scaled the tower and nearly got shaken from it by a video game character come to life. You find yourself with another chance to move closer. Get even closer. His speech falters a bit as you inch closer, and the side of your hand brushes his, but he continues when you leave it there. So I say to Mabel, Mabel having just looked death straight in his dumb, ugly face. Finally, your thigh meets his, and suddenly he seems to have a pretty persistent itch on the back of his head because he can't stop rubbing it. And so that punk Robbie learned his lesson eventually, but you know how his type are. I think I have an idea, yeah. Your eyes meet Stan's, and you hope to God he can't tell how your heart is hammering in your chest. Screw it, here goes nothing. You steel your nerves, moving in gently, resting your head on Stan's shoulder, leaning into his side. You hold your breath as you focus on the water tower in front of you, worried about what look he could be giving you. Stan clears his throat, pulling his arm away from you, and for a moment, feeling you just crossed a line makes you mentally curse yourself, until he lets out an embarrassingly fake yawn, and then his arm above his head and out, resting it on your shoulders. You're so excited by his touch and your success that it takes you a moment to realize the yawn and stretch, he just used that old cliche, and moreover, it worked. Let him enjoy his victory. You can't help but giggle. What? Stan reddens, smiling sheepishly down at you. You attempt to compose yourself. Nothing. You settle into your new spot in his hold, and he seems to relax a bit too. You're lucky you're so cute and endearing. Stan's chest puffs out with a laugh. Oh, you just said that out loud, didn't you? You'd be surprised how little I've heard that before. Now that you're against his side, you really don't know what to do with your damn hands. Are they feeling a little extra sweaty, Mom Spaghetti? Curse these leather seats. Rest one on his thigh. Again, as casually as possible, you decide to rest a hand on Stan's leg just above the knee. At your contact, Stan coughs on his own surprise. You're about to remove yourself from him and apologize, but he stops you by beating you to it. Sorry, I'm fine. It's fine. I just had a little something stuck in my flagella. For a moment, you dare not say a thing and instead close your eyes. There's that scent again, the overtone of cheap cologne mingled with leather, cigar smoke, and salt. From this proximity in the car, it's just the right kind of overwhelming. You really can't believe this. Never in your wildest imagination could you imagine this is how your solo summer road trip would have worked out. But in this moment, you really can't imagine it any other way. You're just happy. Hey, Stan? Yeah? Thanks for your help. His eyes meet your own as he smiles down at you. No problem, kid. It's what kind souls like me do. You really are a lifesaver, seriously. My car would have been a goner. You rescued me from being bled dry by a mechanic, too. You can feel a rumble in Stan's chest as he hums. Crooks, all of them, not even charismatic about it. That's certainly a plus, too. Your hand moves upwards to his broad chest below the open V of his shirt. I'm not only thankful for a place to freeload, though, Stan. I've actually had a really incredible time here, seriously. I'm the luckiest person to be able to ever be ripped out of the forest with their car, since it was by such a nice family. Better than the simple trip to the Mystery Shack, huh? Definitely. Now I think we kiss him. You're about to lean in when Stan looks sharply up. Following his gaze, you spot twin lights on the cliff across from yours. Headlights. Ah, great. Just what we needed. Guess we should start heading back. He offers you an apologetic smile. We should, but can we take the scenic route? Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, the scenic route is also the long way home. You were mostly joking about a scenic route back to the shack during this time of night, but both Gravity Falls and Stan have a way of amazing you to no end. Little bioluminescent mushrooms sprinkled along the path on the trees in perfect rings. Stan drives slowly, and you take advantage of it to marvel at the greenish glow. This is incredible. There's a lot more where these came from, or so I've heard. There's a gnome forest somewhere around here. Never been, because, well, gnomes, but maybe Ford can let us know if there's somewhere like it without the pests. Rest your head on the windowsill, watching the toadstools of all shapes and sizes go by, counting them. I'd really like that. With each passing minute, the rumble of the road and the thrum of the car seem to add another weight to your eyelids, and suddenly your fatigue catches up with you. You alright? You hum an affirmative, and Stan takes you at your word. Well, this could be better. Sliding up next to him, you bring Stan's free arm that's not on the wheel around yourself like it was earlier this evening, and he chuckles. That's right, you get yourself comfortable. You let your eyes fall closed, content. Wake me up if there's a nymph or something. Will do. Okay, that's a decent chunk of the love meter. It's your last day in Gravity Falls. Weeks ago, you'd be worried today would never come, but now that it is, you don't know how to feel. Just yesterday, when Stan told you the car was good to go, you wanted to believe that there was something still left for him to fix, and yesterday evening, after your final dinner with the whole Pines family and Seuss's back-breaking goodbye hug, you'd almost resigned yourself to letting go. But now, in the clarity of daylight, you realize that these weird and wonderful people don't have to disappear from your life for good. You'll always have the memories, and you'll still be able to keep in touch through letters, packages, and video calls. And won't be able to get rid of you even. Too late, suckers. Cherish friends for life. When you make your way out of the shack, you're met by the Pines and Waddles. Waddles is a Pines. He was adopted. These Waddles Pines. Besides the large tarp covering what you guess is your car. They're talking amongst themselves until they spot you. There he is. Thought you were gonna miss the big reveal. Now you guys. Ford and Stan each take their end of the tarp, pulling it off with a flourish as Mabel and Dipper throw hands of confetti in the air. Ta-da! The reveal is, indeed, your car. Besides a couple of nicks here and there, it's hard to believe it's the same one you crashed just weeks ago. It probably runs better than it did when you first got it. It looks amazing. You take it all in, running your hands over the hood and marveling at the spotless windows. Ford, can I call you the next time I need a tune-up? If this is what happens when you use that magnet gun, I might need you to total my car more often. Well, yes, perhaps we could find a middle ground. Hey, no love from me, huh? Don't forget who got you out of this mess in the first place. I could never. Trust me, I'll think of you every time I use my windshield wipers without jamming the button. You laugh, giving Stan a big hug in gratitude. Thank you, Stan. You turned the whole family, taking the moment in. And thanks to all of you for everything. It's been unforgettable. Familiar car keys back in hand, you unlock your car and load your belongings into the trunk. Mabel comes up and hands you a package wrapped entirely in ribbons and bows, winking. Just something to remember us by. Stan calls from where he stands with Ford to the left of your car. I don't know what that is, but it's from me too. And me. Dipper simply shoots you a thumbs up, and when you look at the label on Mabel's gift, you see his name's already there on it besides hers. I'm gonna open it. You're about to pull the ribbons, but Mabel chides you. No, you gotta open it on the road after you leave! Or, well, after you stop at a rest stop because you're driving. Please don't get into another accident. You tuck the gift into the trunk on top of everything else, making sure it'll be safe from being crushed. After Mabel, Waddles comes up to you as well and snorts up at you. You give the little guy a loving pat. You're gonna miss the pig. You're really gonna miss Gravity Falls, too. I don't know what to say, except I guess you're about to say goodbye when Stan interrupts you. Hold on, I got one more thing to say before you go. And, kids, you head on in first. You two, Sixer, give us some time alone. I gotta show him some kinks with the engine. Mabel oohs as she leaves, accompanying Dipper and Ford back into the shack. You think that was altogether too easy, and Stan must think so too, because he turns back to the shack's visible window just as Mabel peeks out from the side of the window pane. Alone, Mabel! Mabel disappears from the window, and Stan turns back to you. It's been some couple of weeks, huh? Gotta say, I'm usually on the other side of this conversation. If there's a conversation at all, that is. Look, I've never been any good at this stuff, so I'll just cut right to the chase. This was just a summer thing, I get it, I really do. But if it were more... It's more. Stan laughs with relief. Really? I mean, of course, really. I'm a fantastic catch. You lucked out with this one, kid. Honestly, Stan, you're not wrong. You don't come off as the long-distance type. I was afraid to ask, so I wasn't sure I had the guts. But I'm glad you did. Yeah, well, you know, there's still a few things I could get a better hang of. Give him a warm look of your own, letting your fondness show, and Stan flushes under your gaze. Well, I guess I should give you my number. Well, wait, you already have that. I don't think the love meter wasn't super far up, and we didn't get the kiss last night. I think kiss on the cheek. I have all this to offer, and that's all you ask of me? You pout dramatically, acting hurt. Oh, well, I guess I won't stay in touch after all. Goodbye, Stanley Pines, breaker of hearts. Stan rolls his eyes but smiles as he steps in, giving you a short kiss, but pleasant on the cheek. There you go, one for the road that tied you over. Return the favor. Stan stubble tickling your lips as you do so. Perfect, thank you. Don't forget me now, alright? I swear I'll spam you with text messages if you do. Dipper showed me how. Laughing, you say your final goodbye with one last look at him. I couldn't forget you if I tried. See you later, Stan. Stan watches you get in the car and start up the engine. You turn onto the road with ease, and in the rearview mirror you see Stan waving goodbye, as well as Dipper, Mabel, and Ford from the shack. You smile at the sight and say a last goodbye into the quiet of your car, watching until you have to focus on the road once more. A little while longer, and you're through town, back on the open road. A sign passes on the right, now leaving Gravity Falls. It's not until you're at the next rest stop that you think to open Mabel's gift, or, well, the Pines family gift. You unwrap it to find the Mystery Shack souvenirs. A small knitted sweater that Mabel has helpfully labeled as a mug sweater, and a photo. Nice. Thank you for playing. You're welcome. Cool. I wanted to finish that at least one time over. That was neat. That was a neat little thing. Let's see. I think I want to go and give somebody a raid. Let's see. let's just go. Let's see. What do I want to toss things over to? I might just let Autohost take it. I'm not seeing anybody like I super want to toss things over to right now, or that I think is a good fit for having just played Gravity Falls dating sim. But thank you guys for hanging out with me.